Hello there, my fellow readers, once again. Welcome to This Is Very Exciting for Me today. I am going to do a bit of, cover reveal for you guys. I'm going to show you my book covers of books I've actually written myself as an indie author. Super proud. Always gotta be proud of it. Tell me about it, fellow indie authors out there. But now, in any case, you might have already seen some of my books out there in ebook and audiobook forms before. They've been around for almost, or actually, yeah, like over 10 years at this point. Yikes, right? However, this is my first time doing things actually in print. I have not fiddled around, I guess is the correct, proper term, fiddled around with print books, just because I always thought it would be like such a lot of work and kind of a pain, which, I mean, there is a little bit more process behind the editing part of it and formatting and all that, but nothing too incredibly difficult. So if you are an indie author yourself, looking to, self-publish things, if you're like, ebook, audiobook, print, which way do I go? I always recommend starting with ebooks first and foremost. And then after that, it depends on whether you have the availability to record audiobooks for yourself, which check out, I have done audiobooks. I've given you guys a couple of like sneak peeks behind the scenes, tips and tricks, all that before making your own audiobooks. So I would recommend doing ebooks first and foremost, always ebooks first. Ebooks, you can sell a bunch of them and it doesn't cost you anything to produce each single one, so you're getting a lot of benefits from that just in itself. And just ebooks are like limitless, like they're just digital copies. Like you can have unlimited digital copies out there in the world, and it doesn't cost you anything to make each one of those, to get each one of those to each of your readers. You can even give out ebooks for free, which I do that as well. Great author marketing tip. If you are an indie author, definitely try doing that. Ebooks first. I say audiobooks second if you are able to record them yourself. If not, maybe put it aside for a little while. And then lastly, or secondly, if you're not able to make an audiobook, then go into print books. Bottom line is, like, ebooks always first. Like, ebooks always win out first. It's always so much easier to get the ebook out there first and foremost. But let me get up this nice thick stack. Is like heavy, you guys. Like, this is all the writing I have accomplished. I mean, not writing in general, but writing of books I have accomplished in the last, like I said, 10 years, right? So I'm going to go ahead and, like I said, you guys have probably already seen like the ebook and the audiobook covers of these before, but I want to go on ahead and I'm going to show you my advanced author copies, the print versions of each of these. That makes me really happy just looking at them. I know you can see me looking down right now. It just unboxing these, you guys. I already unboxed them on my own because I wanted it to be very personal to me. It's kind of an emotional thing as an author to see your books. Just there's something special about print, right? Even though ebooks, like I said, are like first and foremost easiest thing to get it out there, and like it's very, very important to get things out there in ebook form. Print is not as important these days, especially since we're always, online, reading things online anyway. But print books in themselves are still very, very special, and it's very sentimental, really, more than anything for me, because honestly, and I already know this as an indie author, and if you don't already know this as an indie author, you're probably gonna sell a lot more ebooks than physical copybooks, but that's okay, right? It is a little bit more for that like special moment for you and your books, and for your readers that are really might be committed to you, but for them to have that like special, like tangible thing too. So print books are like, yes, there is a production cost to it. Yes, you might not make as much money as you think you will off of print books, but is it worth it? I still think so, because of the sentimental kind of value behind it. So let's go on ahead and one by one, I'm gonna go in publishing order. This is not the order of how I actually designed the print copies. I'll get into that in a second. But I'm gonna go on ahead and go by publishing order. So I'm gonna do my first book here. I'm gonna show you. We have Cartoon, the very, very first book, my debut book as an indie author, as an author just in general, really. So this is my print version of this book. I can also show you, like the ebook and the audiobook covers as well, and some little bit of details here on like the web stores and everything as we look at this. As you can see, the front and the back, I designed the cover completely myself. Yes, indie author, I do everything independently. And of course the spine. So definitely in tune with the theme of, yes, this is a, what I like to call young adult spy fiction novel. Teen fiction, young adult, spy themed, secret agents, all the things, like a James Bond for teens, basically, right? So a little backstory behind this book itself. I actually wrote, not the whole thing, but a very good majority of this book when I was actually in high school myself. I believe my main character, the heroine, if you will, in this book, the protagonist, is a 16 going on 17-year-old, which is the exact age I was when I began first writing this, you know, pen to paper. Well, it was typing because I've always typed. I've never been one to write things by hand, but when I first started actually typing up this debut book, I was 16 going on 17, and then I ended up publishing it when I was 18. So just some details from the book itself if you haven't actually, you know, picked up like an ebook or audiobook copy of this book yet, because of course it's been out for almost like over 10 years at this point. But here's a quick description of what I've put on the back of the book. Meet Amnesia, ... or Nesia, or May, or Mabel Ann Rosemary Brown, or whatever her name is now, she can't remember, ... is a teenage girl who just woke up one day and became a world-renowned spy. Literally, she woke up from a coma in an unfamiliar building surrounded by dead bodies and the need to save herself from whoever is after her. Of course, she doesn't do it all alone. Ace, the experienced secret agent with a constant yearning for danger, gives her a hand, not just with sneakily fighting off the bands of criminals determined to take over the world, but also with remembering who she is, where she's from, and where she's meant to go. So this is the full print version of cartoon. If you haven't already checked it out, I mean, links for all these are going to be below, you guys, but, you know, it's just, like, as an author, you guys, like, look at that. It's just so special to see your own work, something you worked really, really hard on, because I really did work really hard on this. I know it's been a while since I did first publish it, but to finally, after all these years, see it in print form is, like, really, really special and a little bit emotional. So, moving on to the next, which would be the very, very first book in my Emma Lumford series, which I absolutely love my Emma Lumford series so much. And I know you guys know this, and I know you guys probably love it as well. So Cartoon was a standalone book, and that was my first, you know, debut book and everything. But my Emma Lumford series is what I've been working on ever since then. And there's quite a few in the series, so I mean, we'll go through them one by one here. So the very first one in the series, get ready for the cover reveal. Right, like the SpongeBob song. Ta-da! Is what I like to call the purple cover. Because each book in the series has a different color cover, and this is so fun because when I was first designing these covers, right from the beginning, I knew this was going to be a series of books, so I wanted to make sure the covers each time I picked colors that I knew would coordinate really well together, because, and I will show you this at the end of the video, I can't reveal all the covers to you yet, but the whole thing in my mind the whole time was like, okay, if I get this out in print someday, I want it to be where all of these books can sit together on the shelf, like the spines in order, and it'll just look like a cohesive series, like with all the colors. Like, I had a vision, and like I almost wanted it to be not quite like an ombre effect from one color to the other, because looking at them side by side, it's definitely not like a rainbow effect, but it's pretty close, and they're gonna look really, really good together. I'll show you that at the end with all the spines together, like full circle moment. But here is our cover again. Very, 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 very similar to the ebook and audiobook covers, if not almost identical. I did have to reformat it a little bit just for, you know, print, just to make sure it looked good on a print spine and cover here. Of course, the spine on the side. I did add the little eyes because, of course, you also know with each of the books in these series, there's a different eye, right? There's a different eye expression to every book in this entire series, and so I thought it would be cool to put the eyes on the side. That was a really good idea on my part, I think, if I do say so myself. And of course the backs are also quick descriptions of each of the books, and I added a little bit of sparkly effect behind it when I was designing the back cover here, just because I thought it would be fun, right? So let's go ahead, and I'm just going to read you like the back of this book. Of course you can see this online with like the ebook and audiobook copies as well, but the first in the hit comedic series, waking up in a deserted Wisconsin woods surrounded by masked members of a family witch gang at 3 a.m. on a school night? Check. Becoming captured by a deeply demented elder alongside the one member of society that you probably despise the most? Yep, check. Emma Lumford's life hasn't been this heart-stopping since she spotted John Bon Jovi's tour bus at the local 7-Eleven. Emma Lumford is truly the unluckiest 17-year-old on the planet. She keeps her sense of sarcastic humor, though, through this series of seriously ill-fated situations. Her life is basically a sitcom where one traumatic thing after another befalls her, and it's all out of her control. She's constantly kidnapped, held at gunpoint, and even arrested for things she honestly didn't even do. So, what now? Let's take it from the cover, the title, right? Giving an impromptu lip-syncing to Cher on stage in front of hundreds just to escape the clutches of a satanic cult? Bring it on. Nothing new for Emma Lumford. Ooh, I also brought out my Emma Lumford voice a little bit there. I loved narrating these audiobooks, this whole series in audiobook form, which if you have not even checked out my Emma Lumford series yet, please do. The first in the whole series, this book you're actually seeing right here, is free for all new readers in ebook and audiobook forms. Link, of course, will be down below for that, but I definitely recommend checking out the audiobook form of the whole series because I narrate it myself. I'm really, really proud of it. I loved doing the Emma Lumford voice, like you just heard come out a little bit, not completely, but it's been a while since I actually finished all the audiobooks. I kind of miss doing the voice. Emma Lumford has a really fun voice, that's all I'll say on that. Now the rest of these are also in, the next 4 are in the Emma Lumford series, so we'll go through these a little bit quicker. We don't really have to go through the description on each, because if you know the Emma Lumford series, you'll know what happens, right? And if not, no spoilers, right? Even though it's just the description of each, but still. So next book is what I like to call the blue cover. Because we first had a purple cover, now we have the blue cover. And this title I absolutely love the most out of the whole series is What the Luck. I love her. Like, you guys, like when I came up with that title, I was like, I had like an epiphany moment. Like, you know those moments you have like either in the shower or on the toilet. I don't know which it was. Maybe it was both. Doing a little bit of both, simultaneously multitasking. No, but like I had that moment where I was like, I know what the next title is gonna be, and this is amazing, and like I had to write it down so fast so I didn't forget it. And of course this is the wide-eyed symbol on the side. Love it, love it, love it. And of course the back is going to be very, very, very similar to all of them in the series because of course I wanted to keep them cohesive and everything. Emma's back, and even funnier, is our headline, and then of course the description, which I won't read all the descriptions for you. You can always check those out on the ebook forms as well. So that is the second in the series, the blue cover. So next we have the third book in the series. I think this one might be the longest according to weight and how the book actually feels, which that's interesting. That's something you don't really realize when you're doing the ebooks because they're all, I mean, I guess the file size would be different, but it's not like you can tangibly feel the file size in your hand, right? And feel how many like pages it would be. But when you see it in like print form, you're like, oh, this one was definitely longer than the last book. Interesting. So next we have the green cover. How about that? It's green. Lucky, lucky green, because Emma Lumford is known for her fantastic look, right? Next is What Would Emma Lumford Do, book number 3 in the series, with the contemplation eyes, which is also noted on the side. The back, again, for Emma, it can always get worse, because let's be honest, it can. So that is book 3 in the series. Again, you can always check out the ebook and audiobook forms, as well as now the print forms, now that it's actually out in print forms. Next one, which is also quite lengthy, I think the 3rd and the 4th books are kind of the longest in the series. We have the orange cover. Wow, you're like, I wonder what the last book cover color will be. It'll be a surprise, totally, unless you already know the series and you already know what it's gonna be, because it's pretty much the same as the ebook and audiobook covers. But in any case, this one is What's Luck Got to Do with Emma Lumford. Again, we've got our eyes, our motif. That's called a motif, right? A motif that follows through the whole series with the eyes on the side. Some just don't know how lucky they are, including Emma Lumford, who's just lucky enough to vomit on international television, win a trip to Wisconsin's worst kept vacation hotspot, and even find out that she's related to some very infamous faces. Like I said, it's been a while since I've done the voice, so trying the tongue twisters. There's a lot of tongue twisters reading these audiobooks, so definitely, like I said, if you haven't checked out the audiobooks, please do, because they are hilarious, if I do say so. They were like so fun to read, you guys. Like I'm not joking. Like it was so fun to read these books into audiobook form. And so I really hope, I mean, I know it's gotta be like just fun to listen to it, right? Yes, and there's definitely a lot of outtakes and retakes in the audiobooks too, with a lot of blah. Because you can just probably tell just trying to read the first sentence of the description. So anyway, next book in the series is, you have 5 seconds to guess the color. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. It's the pink cover! Ah, maybe you didn't know that that's what it was gonna be, but pink or light red. I kind of like to call it a little bit more of a light red because I was going to go with a more red look in this cover, but I wanted it to stay with the pastels because I was kind of going with a pastel theme with all these colors. So more of a light red, which is also just happens to be pink, whatever you want to call it, right? This one is with a little bit of a wink, Whatever Happened to Emma Lumford, which is a play on words from Whatever Happened to Baby Jane. But in any case, again, we've got the eye motif on the side. Absolutely love that on the spine. This one is definitely the shortest book of them all. I can definitely tell the side is a little bit thinner. And this is the last chapter in the hit comedic series. The final stop on the journey of Emma Lumford, in the life of Emma Lumford. It's a great conclusion, great finale. I loved writing this one. This one was a little bit, I do remember, this is obviously the last book I've written and self-published here, because it was the last in the series, and I have yet to come out with anything since the series, but there's always things in the works. Always things in the works. But anyway, this one was a little bit emotional because I took so long. I mean, it took me so many years, you guys, to write all of these books in this entire series. So finishing out, and I was finishing it very, very strong, and I knew what I wanted the ending to be like, and just delivering that, not just to myself, but also to you guys. It was quite an emotional experience, like very, very cathartic, definitely. Also, almost as like the same feeling I get of seeing it in print form and just like yeah, I did that. So super proud of my work, and especially for you guys, like indie authors, even if you're not, like if you're just a reader, whatever it is that you're passionate about and that you do, and like projects you work on yourself, you know, always you guys make sure you step back at the end and like feel a sense of pride for yourself. Like that's really, really important. I think always, you know, looking at your work and being like, yeah, I did that, go me. So now that I showed you all those, just to top it all off with the little cherry on top, I wanted to show you just how the spines look all together if you have the entire series like stacked on the shelf, sitting on the shelf. Like, see what I mean? All the eyes in order and the colors next to each other. This is what I was going for. This is what I had envisioned when I very first like started writing this entire series. And to like see it actually come to life and to fruition, like I just told you guys, like it's good to be proud of yourself and what you've accomplished. And it's like, it's that sense of pride for me. It really, really is. So those in conjunction with the first book I ever wrote, Cartoon, which I actually, like I said, did not print these completely in order. I actually printed them in order like this. I'll show you from first to last. I actually started with the first book in the Emma Lumford series. I put that one in print first. You know, the formatting, oh my gosh. The formatting, see the tongue twisters are getting to me now. The formatting for print and the, you know, redesigning the cover and everything. I did that first with the first book in the series. And then I had a couple of proofs that I went through before I finally found one that I really liked, because I wanted to make sure, you know, not ever doing print before, I wanted to make sure I knew what I was doing and make sure it turned out okay before I just did them all in print at once, right? So I did it one at a time. I did do the first one in the series first, and then I went in order one by one down the series. And then the most recent one I did was Cartoon, because I knew that my cover, I was gonna have to redo it just a little bit more than the others. This is a little bit different than what you would see with the ebook and the audiobook cover. Not completely. I tried to keep it pretty true to it, but I knew there was a little bit more I was gonna have to do with it. And because it was a little bit older with the writing and stuff, I wanted to make sure that it was formatted really, really well for print. So yeah, you guys, that is all of my print books. All of my books in print, finally. As an indie author, it's such an accomplishment to get that done and to see it. Again, print books are just so, it's very much not just for the readers, but it also is for me. Just to see my books in print form, if anything, that's like so satisfying in itself, and I'm really, really proud of it. So I hope you guys enjoyed watching me go through these and just giving you a little bit of behind the scenes, I guess, of how they came about. Oh my gosh, I cannot speak now. And just, you know, like I said, came to fruition, and hopefully you guys check out the books yourself and you enjoy them. Whether you get, you know, ebook, audiobook, print book, all of the above, whatever you want to do. And just, yeah, you guys are amazing readers, and I am so glad to have you here with me. So until next time, until I have some more print books or just regular books in general in the works, I will let you know. You'll be the first to know. But until then, peace out, and happy reading to everybody.